In this video I'm going to show you how I took the door apart when the car came in last year, and it's a good reason why you should either record or photograph everything before whilst you're taking it apart, because you know, like a few months down the line when you put it back together again, you tend to forget things, and I don't do these all the time, so bit of a problem. Anyway, watch the video and then you'll see how it goes, how we took it a bit. But today I'm going to put it all back together again with a few problems. To escape the rain last night, I just managed to get this Range Rover into the shop. It's not very square, so I can't put it on a lift, but I'm just stripping it out today. Just a few tips. When you strip a door down, put everything in a bag, every nut, bolt and washer, and if possible, you see I've got the door frames down there, screw the screws back into the frame. Alright, I mean it is a bloody mess. I'm waiting for some boxes to be delivered. Well, what we're going to do today on this one, I'm just going to show you what you need to do to strip a door down on a classic Range Rover. They're really easy, but a couple of things you've got to remember. The bolts are actually Imperial, the 7/16 heads. But what we're going to do in here, well they're missing, you see, 2 screws, pull that cap out and pull the hand pull out, and that will release the trim. Also under here, classic Land Rover, Range Rover, Defender, screw under there to pull out, knock up the escutcheon with a flat chisel that you've already bought, which you probably should have done. And then I'll take the cover off, because it's only just prized off, and tools like these little pry bars, these plastic pries, are really handy because they don't damage anything, and you can get underneath them. You see what I mean? And you can prise that off if you want to be a budget. I have a proper tool for it, but this is just a budget, and it works quite well. You see, you just force them off without cracking the panel. See, like that. So I'm going to take that to bits, and then we'll have a look inside because there's some hidden secrets. Once you've got the door card off, you can access this metal bracket that holds the pull on. Now, it's just something to make note. Obviously, somebody's been in this before and they've put another plastic panel on. Well, I'm not interested in that. But it's got these spacers on here. Now, on the other car, on the other side, the spacers were at the top, and I don't really know what they do yet. But it makes a good idea and a good plan to put the bolts and the spacers back in the same hole. So, you know, you'd obviously take this one off here, and once it's off, put it back in to the hole so you don't lose it, because once it's in a plastic bag, you might be wondering where it is, because it might be about 6 months or a year before you start to put this car back together. So, like I said, the good old-fashioned way of putting nuts and bolts and screws back into the places where they came from, in this instance, isn't a bad idea. So, let's get that off, let's pull this plastic off, and let's have a look inside. I'm not going to be stripping this door down absolutely completely. I'm not going to take everything out. I'm just going to take the rubber trim off, and I want to get to the handle, you know, and also to take the glass out. But I've got to take this little bracket out, and this is a little bit naughty to get out. This one here. It's just 3 screws. The problem is, it's trying to windingle it out once you get out. It's kind of tricky. Not the sort of best idea, but I don't know. I suppose once you got to about 95 on these cars, they just give up and did something completely different. So that bracket is a little bit tricky to get out because of all the bits and pieces on here. But it will go. You know, you can tip it around and it'll play around. I can't do it with one hand. But let me see if I can get this out, and then we'll show you the bolts to get to the handle off. To get to the exterior handle, to get it off, there's 2 little, I'm not sure if it's 5/16 or 8mm on this, it's all bonkers. And then just right at the very back, I don't know if you can see inside, there's one of these type of metal clips holding it on. Flick that off, 2 bolts out, and then this handle off. Why am I taking the handles off? Because it makes it so much easier when you're going to paint it. Alright? And we've got to change these rubbers anyway, so we might as well take it all out. Right, let's get the handle off. With the handle out the way, you can see now how easy it is to paint. You know, you don't have to mask anything. That saves time. So now we're going to take off the top frame. We're going to get our little flat chisel and we're going to ease this rubber up. Now it is extremely hard, brittle rubber, so it's going to take some time to get up. And the same with the inside, just knock it off that lip. Oh, just like that, because it's already broken. And then we're going to undo some screws. We're going to undo 1, 2 there, 3, 4, 5, and then the mother of all bolts. You're supposed to get that one out down there. Can you see it? It's a bugger to get to. So if you look right down here very carefully, you can see there's a horizontal bolt. I take that one off, loosen that one off, and when it gets to here, just turn that bracket, and then the window will come out. Easy. Now these are all 7/16 AF, not metric for some strange reason. It's probably because it went off an older pattern. Anyway, let's get those out. You can probably see that's where I took that bolt out of there, and now it allows the window to come up. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the glass in, and we're just going to pull the frame right up out of the way. But we're going to undo that bolt, not just slack it off, and turn that bracket 90 degrees so it comes through the aperture of here. Kind of easy. Now, just out of interest, these are 10mm 10mm headed bolts, and these were 7/16. So just be prepared, get all your sockets set out, because you're going to need them on these cars. Bits of everything. Right, let's get on to that. Once you've got the frame out, you can easily now get the window out by simply sliding it out of the guide. So there you go, that's a door strip down. Only one more to do. Very similar, but I might show you out a few different points where the location of the bolts are. So let's have a look at that. Before we finish on this, it would be nice to take this trim off. Now this is what you need, one of these little tools here with a crank in it. Now I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but you can get it underneath and just flick off the clip like that, and you find you won't break the clip. Take all this lot off. There's a bung there that comes off, and that's it. But look at the condition of these doors. Lovely. They're going to really turn up nice, and be nice to sand and finish, if you see what I mean, for painting. Nothing worse than opening the car and it's a different colour inside. Right, let's get that off. So getting the front door window out and the frame and the rubber was kind of easy. We've got these 4 screws to take out of here. Note again, see the position of those spaces, it's tipped this way, whereas on the back ones it was tipped the other way like that. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but again, if you're not sure, just do what I do, I'll take a picture of it. And because like trying to find all these little bits of information in the books, well, you could spend a lot of hours where you could just run by an old video and just talk to yourself and, you know, just tell yourself that that's the way it goes together. Like I say, sometimes these projects take a long time, and if you're not familiar, then when it comes around to putting it back together, you could be disappointed and get frustrated. Now, another thing we've got to do on the front door is we've got to flick off this front plastic cover. Now we've got to be really careful with that, because there are some plastic pins in. So what we're going to try and do is ease it off with this plastic pry underneath it, because we've got to get to some nasty little pins that are under there. I'm not sure if they're going to come out. Oh. There we go. Let me go and get it. Hey, not bad for one hand, eh? But these things break off. Alright, so we've salvaged that. 3 screws off there, then we can undo the plug. That allows the frame to come up, and then we've got to take some bolts out. So let me get all these bits off of here and we'll show you what to do. So once we've got the membrane off, we can see access to the electric motor for the door lock. We can take the 4 bolts off here, undo the lock, undo the cable, move it out the way, and then we should get access just to say under here to take the latch out. It's exactly the same as before, except there should be 2 levers on it, 2 little clips. Got the mirror out the top. Again, knock up under here, get this rubber off, and then it should come out. Well, hopefully. So I've already got the solenoid off for the door latch. It was a really bit of a tricky job to get out, because the wire passes through this channel up here, and it was tied on here with some cable ties so it wouldn't pull through, so you could get the clip, so just bear that in mind. Now taking the window off in the frame. Bolt there. Bolt there. Here is a Torx, just to make life a bit more interesting. And then down in the bottom corners here, there's two 10mm headed bolts. There's one here and one in here. Believe me if you can't see it. And then that should lift off. Let's have a go. So with the front frame off, we can now get the glass out. Now the glass has got two channels, one here and one here, so we can't sort of tip it like we did the back one. What we're going to use is a battery, and we're going to plug it straight into the electric motor to wind this up as far as we can get, and then we're just going to slide the window across. It's quite easy, but we can't get it out at the moment because there's not enough room. And there you can see where it is. You see, we butted up against here, but we can't get the slider off. So I'm going to do that, then we'll take the glass out. I've got the door assembled here. All I had to do was put the handle back in. I put the door handle back in here. But the problem is I've just dug the glass out of storage. I don't know if you can see it very well. This glass has got... This looks like it's had acid rain on it. Look at the... I don't know if you can see it very well. At the bottom here where it hasn't come out of the car, this bit is beautiful. Oh, there you can see it there, look. Look at that finish. It's not on this side. Now what do? Do I put it back in? Do I polish the glass? Okay. There's always something in there. I've never seen it before, you see, I just took it out. And another good thing is, like I marked on here, this was the left-hand window. That is amazing. Just let me have a look and see if I can find what this side window is like here. Well, it's just the same. The side window here is just the same. It just looks like there's been acid rain on this side of the car. Now, it looks like it's had window tint put into it before, but not on the outside. You don't put window tint on the outside, you put it on the inside. But even still, we're using a very fine wire wool. It don't polish off. I'm going to have to think about this. Man, this car. Right, back in a moment. So, it is on the outside. I don't know if this is going to show up very well, but here I polished the glass a bit. It's very hard to see. Now, I'm going to drop it in a minute, aren't I? I polished this area up on the outside, and it's definitely on the outside, and it does work. I'm using this stuff here. It's fine grade cerium oxide. But this needs to go to a commercial operation because I was polishing that for like 20 minutes and I only did a little bit like here. That's all I've done. I hope you can see it. It does come up. But this is the point, when you do nice paint and put shitty glass in, it's going to look awful, isn't it? You know, it just looks going to be filthy all the time. And of course, we're having enough job trying to find parts for this car, never mind glass. So now I'm going to have to inspect all the glass and see what it's like. The tailgate's okay, that's good, but I don't know why this side's dirty. I'm going to check out the rest of it. Yep, there's been something on this side of the car that just looks like acid rain. It's just like drops of, you know, like sandblast almost, but it isn't. I know it's not sandblast. The other side's all right. Funny that, isn't it? But of course, as you know, once you start doing one side, well, you've got to do all the rest of it because it's all going to look bad. Now, I'll show you the tool I was using. You'll understand why it took a long time. I bought a kit off eBay, and it's this little self-adhesive rubber pad. with little felt pads on it. And I bought some extra powder, but it comes like in a liquid form, so you mix this powder with water and you can make different grades for polishing. 20 minutes with that, just to do that. It's going to take me hours and hours to do this side, so maybe a commercial polisher will be able to do a better job. I use this for taking scratch marks, you know, from windscreens when they got the windscreen wipers made marks across the screen. This is ideal for that, you know, it's perfect, but not to do the whole side of a car. So now what am I going to do today? I had everything planned to put the windows in. I'm thwarted for the side panel. Now I'm thwarted for the glass. Actually, there's nothing really I can do. I'm stuck. I don't want to take the suspension off because I'll disable the car. Guys, one of them jobs, hey? You know, like just one little thing will hold you back. Oh well, we'll do an update later because I'm sort of stuck now. I'll do some videos on something else.